Common bike problem number 4. This is you're out on your bike, you're riding, and you start feeling some tingling in your feet or tingling in your hands, or maybe even some legs. You can start getting leg cramps. People can start getting discomfort in the saddle on their butt, or they can start getting some discomfort in their shoulders and their elbows, just being in arrow and pad so long. Discomfort in your hands if they're out on the bars long enough. So Kurt, there's a couple different touch points between us and the bike. And if we start experiencing discomfort or tingling or numbness in those touch points, what do we do?
hmm Yeah, and that's makes it very, very unpleasant. And I'm going to go back to what we've kind of the common thread in this is that try to be very proactive. So as we look at the tingling of the hands, you look at the feet, it's really go back to when was the last time you had a bike fit. So let's start right there. And again, if you've got your reps, and like you said, Andrew, sometimes it's more convenient to ride inside, but it's a different feeling when you're outside. So specificity if you're going to do a 70.3 right outside for 3.5 hours on a course that is similar, that way those signs and symptoms they might come up before all of a sudden on race day. It's like, oh my goodness, I have not encountered this. So if we go with the tingling hands, the thing that you want to think about as an athlete, and again, myself as a coach, those fingers are just, yeah, feeling ugly. Think about your positioning on the bike. It's like, okay, what is causing this? Am I really too far forward in my saddle? Am I having too much weight in my hands? Maybe I need to pull back a little bit. And again, as we know that you can do one hand at a time, so I would say the majority of time, pull back a little bit and sit further back on your saddle versus you're so arrow, you're so hunched over. And many times on a flat course, that's going to happen right there. So make sure your system is all good to go. The other issue is with feet. In fact, I encountered this kind of almost for the first time at Texas just 2 weeks ago. Sometimes I would have a hot spot on my right foot about mile 80. I would see that it was manageable, but at Ironman Texas, my reality is my feet got really hot at mile 30 or 40. So I was in a situation I couldn't change it. I had to manage it. What could I do? Well, I decided because I am just a little competitive at every aid station, so I'm going to throw water onto my shoes. I'm going to loosen up my straps a little bit to get more air in there, but it really impacted my ability to maintain power. Some people actually get off their bike, they stretch a little bit, they get out of their shoes, and they get back in. And it's just one of those things. So that's a short term management issue versus if I use myself as the guinea pig. Of all the years of running, I need a very wide toe box. My feet are very flat. I've come to the realization now, after all these years, that I have got to get a wide bike shoe. Because if you think about it, bike shoes are typically there's just one width. Well, finally,
Which bikes are you in, Kurt? As a white guy,
I
just
well, right now I just went to Lake, Lake. I went
okay.
online, and for me, the thing that I would have people do if your feet are kind of flat and wide like mine, is take out your insoles, take a picture of your feet on your insoles. But I found for me on both sides, I was over by an inch and a half, and I'm
Wow.
thinking, wow, problem there it is right there. I mean, it's so transparent, it's kinda scary. It's like, why didn't I figure this out? I thought it was maybe the color of the shoe, the wrong size, but it was really the width. So I put on these legs and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, these are like slippers. My feet can actually move a little bit." But that's more long term. And then you know that on race day, if you have that issue on the bike, it's going to impact your run. So take stock, and I know for me, I'm gonna go a different direction on that. As we look at the saddle, there's various things. I mean, saddle is like a pair of shoes. Find the one that works for you. The common mistake that I see with athletes, and I'm going to raise my hand because I am a sinner, you get a race coming up and you haven't broken the saddle in. And it's just like back in the day, True Grit, John Wayne, or Robert Redford were riding horses. It takes time to break that saddle in. Same thing on a bike. And I know it can really be a little bit uncomfortable that, boy, I'm a little bit tender. Well, I don't want to be tender. I'm getting an abrasion or chafing immediately. So the thing to do to prevent that is actually try to get that saddle way in advance, break it in. So if you're going to do a 70.3 or a full, know that. The other thing is think about your kit. If you know for sure you just don't do well, that chamois is a little bit thin, it's probably better to get a thicker kit and put that on with a better chamois and actually change when you come into T2. I think that is really key. But if you're in that situation where you have discomfort, and I remember again, it was in Coeur d'Alene. For some reason, my body and that saddle were not working together, and we started getting a little chafed, and that wasn't fun. I actually went by an aid station, and I screamed out, "Does anyone have any Vaseline?" It was incredible that when I
And
went to a
often
turnaround,
they do. Yeah, some of the aid stations
I
will have that.
I came back around and they threw me like a little something on a stick, and I grabbed that Vaseline and I slowed down, and oh my goodness, when we're hurting, the fundamental things of all I want now and pray for is Vaseline. See, that's the most important thing. I don't care about anything, but I need
What a
my
sport.
Vaseline.
Yeah, what a
What a
sport.
sport.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I use Desitin. And Andrew, I know with your little one, if you could, I always tell people, if you can put Desitin on a baby's little butt for any age group athlete, Desitin is your go-to. It has saved me many, many times. So prepare in advance, especially for a foal and those sensitive parts of your body when you're on that saddle. A little bit of lubrication goes a long way.
Yeah, and definitely, Kurt, this is something that hopefully in training an athlete has figured out what combination of chamois thickness and saddle makes my butt happy. Right, that can take some trial and error. I for years, I refer to them as dainty sit bones. I just have sit bones that do not like being on a saddle for very long. It's just the way they are. Right, I just don't have that resilience in my sit bones, I suppose. But I have figured out over the years, okay, this saddle I tend to do well with, and I actually, Kurt, tend to do better with thinner chamois.
Hmm.
And for years, I was buying the thicker ones, just assuming, oh, more padding is better, and buying really padded saddles. Oh, more padding must be better. And when I ended up on a thinner saddle with a thinner tri-specific chamois, I tend to do better with that. But everybody's going to be different, right? So you got to work out in your training what is going to make your butt as happy as possible. But even still, you get on the race course, it's a long day, your butt's out there a long time. And for me, Kurt, whether it's just feeling pressure on those dainty sit bones or feeling tingling in hands, fingers, feet, um, you have to change your position a little bit, right? You have to get those body parts moving. I'm wearing my Ironman Waco shirt at today while we're recording. Doing Ironman Waco, I'm at like mile 70 or 80, and all of a sudden my left foot, I'd never had this happen before. My left foot specifically, like my toes kept falling asleep. And so every like mile or two, I was literally just like a little like bird doing this with my toes, just getting those toes moving, and it would get blood circulating down there, and they would be fine for a couple miles. Then I have to do it again. And so whatever body part is giving you issue once you're out there, even if it's a piece of gear or something you don't normally struggle with, get that body part moving. Get that body part. Let it change positions just a little bit to just if your calf's starting to tweak or cramp up a little bit, get that leg stretched out for just a second. Kind of reset your body, and then keep going, and hopefully it'll run its course.
Yeah, real quick, Andrew, you said the C word, and I just want to spend a minute on that. At any time when you're on the bike and you notice a hamstring cramp, calf cramp, in your mind, ask yourself, where am I on my electrolytes? I tend to always try to do my best to carry extra electrolytes. It's better to be proactive on that too versus, well, it's kind of in my head, it's going to go away. No, because the longer you're out there in the elements with Mother Nature, that's going to come back and bite you real hard.